meet Wilf Carter?
Yes, quite a few
When?
times.
Or tell me of some of the time.
First time I met him was at Lac de Bonnie,
Okay.
1952, maybe 53. He is just making a comeback tour across Canada. He'd been in a bad accident. In fact, a lot of people thought he was dead. He was at the height of his career in New York City back in the late 30s. And he'd bought a ranch from some of his winnings or salary, I guess, out in Alberta, and he met this nurse, and he was taking her back there to show her the ranch. And somewhere near Shelby, Montana, the drunken driver came across the road and they had a head-on collision.
Oh.
Wilf spent 10 years recuperating from that. It broke parts of his jaw, and he couldn't walk for a lot of years without a cane or whatever. And he just took 10 years off and retired to the ranch in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I was saying, there was some other guys like this fellow over here was trying to claim to be Wilf Carter. There was imposters across the country different saying they were Wilf Carter because they figured he was dead. So he figured he'd make one tour across Canada to set the record straight. That was one of his first places, was Lac de Bonnie, so Marge and I went out there in a 1940 Ford car. I had never driven in a city before. We went right through Winnipeg and on out there. Miracle. We survived. But anyway, he sang, and I never forget that experience. He had a little midget fiddle player, shorty lad.
Mm-hmm.
He was about this high, and he couldn't, his arms was short, he played a regular sized fiddle, but he played the neck up under his fingered up here and held the bow that way.
Oh, okay.
Could he ever play? Double string and everything.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember Wilf. Just written The Bluebird on Your Windowsill and some more Swiss Moonlight Lullaby and some of those songs, and he did them. Then I saw him in Winnipeg after that a couple of times. The last time I saw him was at Brandon. I think that was the last tour he made. And they didn't think they needed a very big room because he was quite an age, and was way up in his 80s. And they thought, well, it won't be that big a crowd. So anyway, they decided they better rent the good sized room anyway, just in case, and it was sold right out.
Good.
Yeah. They had to help him up on the stage. There was some steps going up. I don't know if they had to help him, but the nurse, I guess, was right by his side in case he fell.
Hmm. So who are some of your other influences besides him?
Oh, lots of the old time singers, like Jimmy Rogers. You've heard of him.
Yep.
There was Tex Morton from Australia. Woody Guthrie, Bradley Kincaid, and the guy that wrote the Prisoner's song, can't think of his name now. He wrote that one, and Letter Edged in Black. I can't think of his name. I know it as well as my own. Anyway, those are a few of them.
Okay. I want to change tacks a little bit. Along with all the rest of this stuff, you also played a lot of baseball.
Yeah, I played for, I think, pretty close to 50 years.
You stopped playing in your 70s.
Well, I just made one appearance when I was, I think, in the 70s. I played one inning out here at the Manitou ballpark, wherever.
Yeah. Okay, Kaleida K's. That wasn't that wasn't the first team you played with. You played in Snowflake too, right?
Well, I played with Kaleida to begin with, just after I quit school, or maybe I was still going even.
Okay.
We had 3 or 4 exhibition games that summer.
That'd be 1942?
I quit in 43, so yeah, mid-40s, yes.
Okay. And were they called the K's then too?
No, just Kalida.
Okay,
We hadn't got branched into the double names yet.
okay. And then you were a part of the team, like the Kalida K's won the league about 4 or 5 years straight, right? You were on that team, right?
Yep, got a picture of it up on the wall there.
Okay, cool. And your boys were playing with you at that time too, right?
Yep, right. Yeah, we won 3 years in a row, lost the 4th year, and won again the 5th year. So we won 4 to 5 years, 74 to 78 inclusive.
Okay, so were you coaching at that time or playing coach?
I was playing coach. It was myself and Jack Edwards and Mel Pierce. We all had a hand in the coaching.
So how far, like I remember going to Kalida K's games at the old sports ground at Kalida. But how far away did you play? Like how many different areas? Like Manitou? Would you play in a league as far west as Clearwater or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? How big was the league then?
To begin with, it was an eastern half, I guess, that we played in. It was Kalida, Darlingford, Thornhill, 1-6, and Mont Carmel from across Mowbray
Okay.
and Mont Carmel.
And then it got bigger.
Yeah, oh, yeah. They call the little towns, everybody had a ball team at that time. Sometimes 2. Snowflake had 2 teams one time.
So what's the best thing you remember about baseball? The coolest thing that ever happened, to use a very...
I just loved playing. Batting was my favorite.
Yeah?
I played for years at third base. Oh, I don't know there were so many good memories, hardly any bad ones.
That's great. How long did your guys play with you?
I guess my best memory would be we played over at Mowbray one night, and I hit a ball right across into the United States. I used to tell people I hit a ball so hard I put it right in the next country.
Cool. Okay, let's go to a different topic. Like we were talking before about Iowa, and you won a lot of competitions there over the 30 years you participated down there.
Yes.
What would you say was the cooler, the greatest of those performances, or the one that you will remember best?
I don't know as any one stuck out better than the last one. I was always so surprised, and because I was, for most of the time, I was the only Canadian competing down there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, well, what chance have I got this? It's going to be an American that's going to win this, but well, they either judged it fair or whatever, but
Well, you were a judge sometimes too, right? Because
Yeah.
you could not compete and win 2 years running. So you'd compete and win, then the next year they'd ask you to come back as a judge, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd compete and win again, and then you'd come back and be a judge. How many times did you do that?
I think 11 times.
That's right on.
I didn't like the judging very much.
How come?
It's a no-win situation.
Oh yeah, okay.
You make more enemies judging than you'll ever make friends, because no matter which way you judge it, the guy that you didn't pick is a little bit upset with you, I guess. And figured they should have won. I just didn't like judging.
They kept asking you back though.
Well, yeah, and you couldn't really turn it down because that's the way the rules were set up.
How do you mean?
Well, that was their rule. If you won this year, next year they asked you to judge. You didn't.
Oh,
I guess you
okay.
could refuse to, but
Sort of a convention that you were going to
yeah,
help them out.
you could compete the next year, but you couldn't win a prize.
Yeah,
You'd just be filling up the show. But
right. Okay, so you, along with that, also put together what I think you told me about 40 albums or 40
44.
recordings? 44.
Yeah.
Okay, and that started. Frontier wasn't the first. Was it Frontier the first recording company you worked with?
I think so, yeah. And that's not counting the Billy Beals, but
No.
Frontier back in 64, I think, or 60, 65, somewhere back in there.
Okay, and you recorded where? In Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
The Frontier was out of Waterloo, Quebec, but we did the recording in Winnipeg. What was the name of this studio? It was a big studio in Winnipeg. We had some backup musicians. Then I guess I got recording with Quality Records at Toronto, and one on the Boot label, which is Stompin' Tom's label. And then I signed with Sunshine Records in, well, just let me hang on.
I think 82.
I'll tell you in a second here. There's the award I got for 25 years. It's hard to read this, 1976.
You're right, 1976. Cool. That's Sunshine Records.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, and all of these recordings were done in Winnipeg?
Not them all.
No?
They mostly were until I got too expensive. You'd go in there and spend hours recording, and then you had to go back and spend almost as long in the mixing process. This was always costing you, probably cost you a couple of $1,000 back in those days. And I wasn't happy with a lot of them after we got finished, so I decided to do my own. So the last 7 or 8 or so, I made here at home.
Mixed them yourself?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I could take a week if I wanted to. It wasn't cost me any money.
No, exactly.
Oddly enough, it didn't take it near as long as it did at Sunshine.
Okay. Too many chiefs?
Yeah, and they used to get some young fellas running the soundboard that they were just getting their training at my expense or whoever was expense.
Yeah.
Because they made a lot of mistakes and didn't give the sounds quite right. And they didn't understand anything about old-time country music.
No. There's a certain sound that you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what kind of a microphone do you use when you're recording?
My own?
Yeah.
Some I've on Shure mics. They were a good microphone. And then I got the dynamic, I don't know what make it is, electronic microphone.
Okay. Something that picks up both the voice and the guitar.
Or I could, the outfit I got has 8 tracks on it, so I could dub it in. But I preferred to do it both together because...
What are some of your recent songs, of the ones that you've written in the last, let's say, 15 years, what's your favorite there? Or what's one that you could play for us, of your own?
One of my favorites. I don't have any favorites.
You told me that before, and then you found one.
Yeah. Oh, heavens, what a list to sing. Well, we could... one I wrote on back on the farm, that's, I don't know, 15 years, but
That's okay.
anyway, Marge always liked it. One I never did too much.
Do you know how it feels to head home from the fields at the close of a long weary day. And the good woman waits by the old garden gate to greet you in her special way. With the house lights aglow and supper on the stove, all the cares of the day fade away. For a life on the farm has its own special charm that I wouldn't exchange come what may. Now there's a meadow so green where I just sit and dream of the times and the days long ago. I see the children that play in the yard every day. I see the summers and the new fallen snow. But the years pass away, it's all quiet today. Those good times we knew are long gone. Here's to old folks alone in our little farm home, with just memories of when we were young. Do you know how it feels to head home from the fields at the close of a long weary day? And the good woman waits by the old garden gate to greet you in her special way. With the house lights aglow and supper on the stove, all the cares of the day fade away. For a life on the farm has its own special charm that I wouldn't exchange come what may. Oh lady, oh lady, oh lady, oh lady.
Well, Stu, I just want to thank you for doing this interview with me today. And I think you got a song to finish it off with.
I'll do yodeling my way back home while I still can.
Cool.
Oh, I'm yodeling my way back home. Never again will I roam. That old log shack is calling me back again. I'm yodeling my way back home. Oh,
Right on, Stu.